things I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and I'm going to take my time. Why am I taking my time? Because some mod lists, not all, some do that to you. Nice. All right. This is my dimensional holotape. Okay, that is, you can see it's a box of holding. So we carry it around with us. And what it allows us to do, because again, I'm a big hoarder. So,
Nice.
and then this is all part of the mod list here. Basically, there's going to be little leaflets, pamphlets, whatever, left all across the Commonwealth that tell you about certain um, all about the bugs and the creatures about. And then so you come down, you're gonna make your way, and then I harvest pretty much everything I come past. And you can see you get here. There's a pizza tray, but there's another
There
file
we go.
on the rats and another bestiary. All right, and so you grab that coming in, and then once you get here, now a lot of people, sometimes people like to go talk to Codsworth right away. I don't, and because now what I told you about the broken down cars, the ones that are like real broken down, they will be lootable because of that mod that we put on. So I'll loot as much as I can, and I'll go house to house, grabbing the stashes and everything like that. And then the key that we really that I do is I go and grab and loot all that I can, and then I also look at that behemoth. Okay, that is actually kind of scary. Oh shoot! All right, we don't have enough ammo. Oh, we do. Never mind. All right, so you see, you got that big giant rad roach. So now what I do is I loot everything, but we're not gonna, for time's sake, we're just not gonna do all that. And then we're gonna go as far as we can with this, with what we got here. We only got 3 rounds left, and then there's a guy down here. Try to get him to come out, and then there's gonna be one other guy over here. Now I want the XP. I don't want Cosworth killing everything for me. So he's gonna show his, and there we go. And then after I've looted so much stuff, one of the things I do is I dump it all right here. I'll leave the pre-war money for now. So you can see here, there's a ton of stuff here. But if we go over to this car, which is, I'm going to say intact, we can't loot it. You see that? So that car isn't lootable, whereas the Junkard is completely. Okay, so now I'll come over, and if we can, we'll loot some more stuff. We'll loot everything that we can along the way, and then I'll make my way around through here. And then you can see this mod. Oh, gosh. So let's see what weapons we got. We got melee, and then as a matter of fact, okay, that's already selected. All right, so we have a nailer with 10 rounds. We'll put that right there. And then we have our energy weapon, a laser pistol with X number of rounds. So we'll go ahead and equip that. And then all right, there you go. But what's going to happen here is this. We may not get the sneak attacks. There we go. Nice. Okay. That we truly wanted there. So we get everything that's in that house right there. And look, auto saving, right? And then we can come by and then loot all those and then loot this guy here. And you can see this is a swarm, right? Nothing to be had here though. And then we can go through and loot all the stuff that's in the house as well. There's going to be, oh, look at that. That's nice. And then we come out. You can loot the car. Come around. Now, I've seen other folks, they'll come out and what they'll do, and then I do this every time too, and then this is actually a good test for me. So I'll come down here first. And what I want is the gird, and the gird, and the gird, and the mute fruit. And I grab those because I can replant the girds, right? But I want to come up here, get what? Oh, I got a European sniper rifle, right? So I picked up 2 new weapons. Now, some folks will come in here and loot this right away. I don't, actually. It's like one of the last things I do. Now I'm going to come around here. I'm going to try to get some sneak. All right. I think there's one more in here. And again, with the swarm, nothing else. I don't hear it, though. Now I do. It didn't come out. So we got to figure out where it is. And then take it out as soon as we see it. Goes over in the other room. It hasn't detected us yet. Boom. And then you see we just hit another level. All right. And then, again, you can loot to your heart is content, right? From the different places that, and then you unlock the safe. We got some bobby pins already. Get a little tutorial. And then hopefully just take your time. Got some good stuff in there. Get that stim pack. We had to use a bunch. And then now we have cleared everything out. And then we can go talk to Codsworth if we want. One of the things I do actually before I talk to Codsworth is I come around here. And you see right now we have, I can hit this again. Boom. Now you saw that they're not connected yet. We transferred stuff into the cooking station, but we didn't see the stuff that we transferred here, right? And I'll take the shovel, I'll take that, I'll basically check to see what else is there. And then I'll come over here, and if you go search, boom, now we're in, and a lot of times I'll actually go through and scrap everything. Right? Yeah, everything gets scrapped. Nothing gets, saved. I use Crazy Earl's scrapyard. I actually overwrite whatever scrap mod that they have, and I'll use Crazy Earl's scrapyard. Reason being is because when you scrap the houses, Normally, you'll get like maybe, some steel, some wood, and that's about it. And I'm like, for these little pieces laying around, yes, that makes sense. But for this big, huge piece here, there's got to be more there than just that. So you hit that, and then I went too fast. My bad. So you can't scrap the car, scrap the mailbox. You get to the lamppost, you see you get steel, rubber, copper, and screws, right? That makes sense. And then again, let's try this house again. Now you're getting wood, steel, rubber, concrete, nuclear material, screws, fuses, light bulbs, copper. Now the pre-war money is kind of funny, but I'll take it, right? And then so you get more for your buck. So unfortunately, though, what's happened is we've added a mod that doesn't let me scrap the vehicles. Like, now since you can loot them, you can't scrap them. And then I come around and scrap as much as possible for my start. And then I say, okay, you know what? I've scrapped enough. Let me go ahead and talk to Cogsworth. Okay. So then we can come on out of here. Now, I do run back over here real quick. And then when I go to transfer, you see now that we've clicked on the what's the name, everything is available to us in that transfer. And then I'll say, here, transfer more stuff. Transfer, and then I'll say, okay, let's talk to Cogsworth. Hey, I'm home.
As I live and breathe. Oh, it's really you.
And then we'll try to get through this as quickly as possible. You're still here.
Codsworth.
Well, of course I am. But you?
Mm-hmm. And then, they killed him.
Oh, Mummy, it's been ages since we've had a problem.
Now, the dialogue options are different. This is not vanilla, so it's changing them. But generally, the first option you always get, or the top option, is going to be if you can ask a question. That's what you're going to do. The second option is going to be the
well-thought-out response is always
X button, or the second option is going to be kind of he's been kidnapped, but I'm going to find him. It's kind of a fiery type option there, right? And then he's gone. Gosh darn it. That's your B option. That's your fighting one. That's the one where you're more antagonistic. And then the generic one down at the bottom is going to be, it doesn't make sense. There's just no reason someone would take my baby.
It doesn't make sense.
It's worse than.
And then 200 years.
200 years?
Right.
A bit over. That means you're.
And then you're acting strange, and you can see this one is actually kind of a persuasion type thing.
Codsworth,
and it even tells you
a little weird.
And then we successfully did it. Remember, we do have that higher charisma, 6 charisma.
Right.
I spent them, and don't get me started.
And then, stay with me, pal. Focus, right?
Stay with me, pal.
I'm afraid I did.
And then, thanks,
Thank you,
Codsworth. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Now, shall we search?
Now, and then the reason I do this is because I don't need, and this is why I did what I did. I go, I already looked. They're not here.
Codsworth. Sure.
And then, now I'm like, Codsworth, where can I go? I need your help.
Come on, Codsworth. I need your help.
Well, you could hit.
All right. Thanks for your help.
Thanks for your help, Codsworth.
Good luck, Mum.
Now, I could ask them, if there's still people there. But see, now he's complete. Everything's done. I can just move on. one of the things that I will come in here and grab is my melee damage just went up by 5%, right? And there's more stuff that I can loot here. Now, one of the other added benefits, right? So we can loot that, we can loot that, right? Of the TSS MSR mod is this. So I'm gonna take one of the combat knives. I'm gonna take one of the 10 millimeters. I am gonna take. I'm gonna take the combat rifle, one of the hats here. Um, take the army, and then I'm gonna take the mods here. Right, so there's a bunch of mods in here for the weapons. So I'm gonna take them, and then why did it make me really? Okay, I didn't want to take all of them, and the main reason I didn't want to take all of them because they don't have any weight to them. Never mind then. Okay, might as well take these too since they don't have weight. If they had weight to them, then there would be an issue. So I take those. Now, for me in my playthroughs, I not hoard everything, but I hoard everything. The other thing that I am huge on is I mod. I love, everything is moddable. I do everything I can. You see, we got a Vault Tech backpack right there, so we're gonna put that on. I want to see what the army fatigues are gonna do for us, and then let's get over to the weapons. So now that we have these weapons, we got to make sure we are good to go. So I'm gonna favorite this, right, and then I'm gonna favorite the sniper rifle right there, and then we do have this ray gun sniper rifle that looks like it does quite a bit of stuff. I'll put you over there, and then we're gonna return. I'm not a melee person, so I'm not really worried about melee. We're gonna do this, and then as far as aid, right, I got the stim packs. With the purified water, I also will favorite that. Now, if we didn't have, and then here's that chest activate, our box of holding. I'm gonna put that right on over here. Oh, sorry. And then we're going to also come up here. There it is. I went right by it. Throw a quick save right there. So now let's go check, see what we look like. I ain't mad at it. I ain't mad at it at all. And then if we wanted to, and a lot of times what I'll do is I'll go in here and I will mod it up. But we don't have time for that today. But just know that we would add a bunch of mods. Now, Concord is on our list of to do. One of the things that I do, and you guys may not agree with me, but this is something I do if I can find it. Settings, there it is. All right, backpacks of the Commonwealth. There's the settings mod. I will go in here. There's a bonus, a capacity bonus. Now me, because I am an extreme hoarder, I set it to the max. Another thing is I will go into, and as a matter of fact, let's look at, where's my holotapes again? That's the only one there. Where's my, I don't see it, which means I don't see it, which has me kind of concerned, but not really. And what I'm talking about is the cheat terminal. Maybe it's not on here. So a lot of times I'll put the cheat terminal on, But the main reason I put it on there is for the time scale, right? But we can change the time scale multiple ways. And then the other thing is the personal storage feature that you can get away with. But since we have the box of holding, we don't need to worry about that either. Now, like I said, first thing I'll do is let's get in here and quick save. See, now I'm not a huge fan of the wheel, but it is what it is. You know, me personally, I'd prefer not to have the wheel. I don't mind the direction buttons. So first thing we'll do is, now what I'm looking to do is build my character up still. You'll say, well, you're already level 12 at this point, or level 11. That is true, but in my opinion, you'd never be high enough level. So when we come over here, I call it, we got to go shopping. So over this way, let's get our weapon out, by the way. And let's switch to the combat rifle, because it has 20 rounds per clip, and if I'm not mistaken, where are they? Are you serious? Holy crap. Alright, so be aware that that isn't necessarily vanilla, right? And then you can see we got this bush, but then we also have this guy. There he is. Alright, we had a mutant hound here. We got different types of fauna and flora in this particular mod pack, right? Now, I came over here looking to fight with some flies and not geckos. There is a shack up here that I am missing, and that's because I'm still too far this way. We can go. We can do this. We just got to be able to react quick enough. If the shack is where I think it is, it's going to be up over here, over this ridge. And those gecko. Where's the shack? Here it is. Now we've been detected. And again, like I said, we're over here to do some shopping.
Fucking hide from me? You're dead.
Okay. Now, it might not have been the nicest thing for us to just come over here, pick a fight, and then, decide to kill him. But it's like, you got stuff that we need. All right. So, see, he was keeping somebody over here. And then you got noodle cups. You got more ammo. You've got a gird. Some Mentats. You got some mole rat meat. And then over this way, that's where the bugs are that I was expecting. So I hadn't gone down far enough. It's not necessary that you go fight with them. The geckos, I think, are a replacement for the mutts that were usually here. There's usually rats, or not rats, but mutts, dogs that are over here that you end up having to shoot and kill. They're not here. So what I'll do is, and then this is, like I said, this is us going shopping. So we're going out trying to supply ourselves up and get as much as we want. So right here, you want to get down, and you see these bushes? These are now bushes now. And then, what the frick, man? You trying to give away our position? when did a? That's the first time I've seen that. A rad roach just out in the wilderness, just doing whatever. So up here though, and then I'm going towards this fern because it's a fern. But so over this way is this person, and then the problem is I feel bad, right? I do, but I don't, right? Because as soon as they saw us, they would start shooting. All right. So it's kind of like, yeah, I know. We're sneaking up on them. We're invading their stuff, right? Don't they have right to protect their property? And probably do. Probably do. But so does that mean I'm just gonna let them shoot me? Now, the one thing I like about this mod list that we got going is a lot of mod times you come over here, and this is how you can. One of the reasons you can tell if it's stable or if it's going to be stable is usually the bottle's just floating in air because not everything is rendering like it's supposed to. So as long as it does that, you're good. Now we're gonna come this way. Here's some stuff we need to pick up. See, just going out here, we're picking up supplies, right? It's just the dangerous way of picking up supplies. Because, yeah, we're going to have to kill people to do so. We're going to have to kill things and people in order to get the supplies that we need. So it's kind of like an advanced form of shopping, right? Because we're shopping without money. We're shopping with bullets. Yeah, that's it. That is it. We're shopping with bullets. So the key is you come on over here. Now, I'm going to pick it up, but I never actually ever use it in game. Okay. And you see all these cars? They're all, just tore up, but they're all now have some sort of loot about them. Oh, let's get this. All right. So we jump over here, get the loot out of here. But the one thing that you have over here is you got the fat man. Get the rest of his loot. And loot. And loot. And loot. You got this. Now. Oop. Okay. And then you got some more loot over here. Oop. There. And I don't want to take the tank tire because I think this was huge. I don't know how much that thing's gonna weigh. So, and then you grab that. Now, here's the ammo for your fat man. Alright, and then we'll come in here. And then you could do this a couple ways. You could do a couple of things here. Here's that and that. What that gave us was a paint job for our power armor, if we ever get that. And then of course that way, right? And then a lot of this stuff is here in vanilla. This is most of this stuff that we just ran into. All this stuff here is all vanilla except for the fact that we could loot the vehicles, right? That's a mod that allows us to loot them. All right, so you can either eject the holotape or you can play it directly here. And I don't think it really matters. What you can do is say, yeah, go ahead. And then so it's gonna do its boot up. And then I usually just eject it. That way I have it on me. And I come out, and this guy, he's running around now. Now, you can actually go in. I like to let him go ahead and kill all, because what he's going to do is he's going to spark all the mole rats to come out. So I let him do that while I go off and finish shopping. Now, I could be the one that actually does the killing of the mole rats, but it's kind of a pain. Now, if you look here, Now, part of that is poor shooting on my part, and then part of that is sometimes I don't know if I'm hitting them or not. No. So part of that is you would think I'm hitting them, right? The thing is, now what I've done is I've drawn attention to myself. I don't like that. All right, so we come over here now. I'm only bringing you over here to show you where you would find it, but it's not here. So some mod lists, they get the bright idea that they don't want you to have this suit of power armor that is right here. You see, he's leaning up against something. I just knocked him over, but he's normally leaning up against something. He's normally leaning up against this suit of power armor. It's not a full suit, but it's most of the suit, right? It's the frame and like 2 or 3 pieces, which is a good start. And then you got stuff in here, and then sometimes there's things you can loot. Like sometimes there's a helmet in the chair, and you can see we can't get to it, or we can't stay up there to get it. And then there's other real quick boxes over here. I hate picking up concrete usually. The reason is because it weighs 3. It has 3 carry weight, so it is kind of heavy. Okay, so now we'll run over here. We'll scare this guy, or we can get the headshot finally. And then where's our other guy? Now, once you get over this way, you're going to kind of like initiate the mole rats. So you have more mole rats to contend with over here anyway. And it's really how you want to do it. But there's some glowing fungus over here. There is another, unless it's been removed, there's usually another. You can get some irradiated thistle, and see, normally there's another thing here. We don't want to go too far north anyway at this point, but we'll take the carrot, and ooh, that's new. But we'll come back. You see that right there? Why did I shoot them? Because I had no idea what they were. Rad storks. Yes, rad storks. Alright. So this is what I was looking for, this thing right here. And then so you can unlock this.
That's it.
Take those. You got a settler, unfortunately, for them in there. Oh, wait. There's a complete pillow, and then there's the box there. Alright, so we're going to come back over this way. And then, oh my gosh. The geckos. Alright. So there's used to be a pile here somewhere. Where's the pile? Alright, so we just ran past it. Oh, there it is. So you come on over here, loot the settler, loot the trader, there's a duffel bag, and then a raider. And you can loot on up as much as you want. Now for me, when contending with these guys that are jumping around, going in and out of the ground and everything, I just get annoyed and say, okay, you know what? F it. Let's do some. And then sometimes like with bloat flies and sting, it's just like, let's just. All right, so now I'm over encumbered. As soon as I loot this one, I'll stop. All right, so now we will come on over to you. And you see, opens up a storage thing for us, and then we can come in here and say, okay, I don't need that, that. Oh, okay, all right. And then we don't have that favorited, we don't have that favorited, and then if it's not favorited, and you can look at it and say, okay, oh, that looks nice. All right, the caravan shotgun. Let's put the Fat Man away too, because that was pretty heavy. And then, I gotta be honest with you, I'm gonna go ahead and put that away. And then I'm gonna put that away as well. And then we can come in here and say, okay, we're not gonna wear the yellow flowery dress, and so we can put that away. We'll keep that. We'll put that away. And you can see there's a lot of stuff in here that we've picked up. And then tire left leg. So now we got metal left arm and right leg. We can put the dog stuff away. The Brahmin skin outfit, probably put that away. The business wear, and then we'll put those away too. And then we could also just come in here and just spam, put away everything, right? And then when we get back to the settlement, we can just take all and then dump it all into our workshop. So now we're good to go again. Let's while we're here, armor, right? So we got the agitator outfit that would actually do that, but I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. And then so now we got that. I don't usually like the metal stuff, the spikes, but we can put that on now for armor. So now we've collected everything that we can do here. And then one last thing. Well, there's actually a couple last things before we make it all the way back. We want to get up out of here. So you see our guy is roaming around. He's probably taking care of all of his stuff. So we'll come in here. Go to miscellaneous. Go to holotapes. We'll go with that one. You see we got 4 levels already. And then we're going to say initiate self-destruct. Yes. All right. So now what we want to do is we want to keep our distance. Now it's also telling us that we're thirsty. So let's just try some. All right. And then we did that because we're going to get all our loot, right? And then he should have did us a huge favor. Maybe there wasn't that many of them. Do you see any? I don't see any. Why don't I see any? Okay. Well, I'm not going to argue with it. If they're trying to tell us that all he had to fight was one, then that's all you had to fight. Okay. Fine. And then one last place we're gonna hit. And then you got to be careful here because it really is up to you. What do you want to? If you want to fight, you can go and fight, right? The closer you get to the water right here, you're gonna trigger some. You're gonna aggro a couple of fire lurks. If you're like, no, I just want to get back. Already see something roaming around there. It was a big river rat. Oh, I didn't mean to get in the water. Okay. Snaptail. Snaptail. Here's something following us. I don't know if you guys hear it, but I'm hearing something. I don't like it. Alright. And nothing over here. So we're gonna get around here. You got Bloodleaf. You got a Raider. I don't like Raider gear. I just don't like the way it looks, personally. But then you have the rib cage, and then you should have, there it is. And as a matter of fact, I should have just quit. And then this is new, and part of the mod list is collecting more and more of the flora, the extra stuff that they put there, the raspberry bush, all that stuff. But now that we went out and collected a lot of gear. And a firefly, really? Alright, you don't want to spend too much time in the water. And then I'm finding myself, because it's darker than I'm used to, finding myself in the water quite a bit. Okay? And I was hoping to jump on the log. So we're going to come up here. It's dark. It's nighttime. So it's about time for us to rest a little bit. We collected a ton of stuff, right? Now we can hit the root cellar. We went from level 10 to level 15, just like that. The root cellar, we can turn off our light. Now this mod list is kind of funny because here's our armored jumpsuit. I don't particularly. Then you got Vicky's letter here. I need your help. Everyone has fled the apartments because the city has got too dangerous. So this is an extra mod, and it's like, please, come help me. So we're gonna take that, right? The wild key chase. So you got a stim pack. You got 10 cans, right? They look really good for being over 200 years old. You got a bunch of stuff in here. You got more 10 cans. You got bottles. And then what you want to do is you want to take just about everything, right? This burnt trade magazine doesn't do anything for you, right? You got another zap pistol, microfusion cells, cram. So in here, normally you're gonna have this stuff, and maybe not every single thing that's in here, right? And it's not gonna look this way. The cans are gonna be rusted and not have any kind of wrap, thing on there, labels. But everything that you find in here, you just take it. You say, okay, boom, and then there's a couple of cans over here, and then whatever you find in the crate. And then the cool part is, now that you've looted all that, you take the shovel too. And then you say, okay, now it's time to get some sleep. Now, supposedly, you can only sleep for 5 hours on this kind of mattress. So now we're going to wake up. We're still tired. That's fine. not worried about that. But what we want to do is we want to get some food. Unfortunately, well, fortunately, we were able to pick up those noodle cups. Unfortunately, everything else that we have on us is radioactive. Okay, so it would give us rats, and then we'll come back and look at our drinks, and then you know we'll have a water. So now we're hydrated, we're fed, right? We can put our weapon away, and then so here we are. We are here, and then it's only what 3:40. We can sleep for another 3 hours. All right, so it's almost 6 a.m. now. And so it's going to start getting light out, right? We want to get up with the crack of dawn and get our day started. One of the things that we're going to do is we're going to do a hard save. And then what I do want to look at real quick here, though, is what I want to see is under our game settings, right? And then we definitely want to check this, is we want to look at our time. And you see, it that's why the time went so quickly on us. Remember? And that's why it's kind of like I sit back and I go, that's not okay. Why did it change on us? And you gotta come all the way down here, and there's our time scale again. So it's two places here where that time is gonna make a difference. Another thing you can do real quick off the bat is you can say here, and then you can say set. It literally is set time scale to 5, and boom. So you can do it a multitude of multiple ways, right? Um, when you have the cheat terminal, you can just do it there. When when you have the game configuration menu in, uh, loaded as well, that's a mod, so you have to have that. You can do it there, which we saw us do, or you can just do it via the console. Now, doing it through the console, you have to know what you're doing. So that's the key right there. You're setting it up and doing it because you know what the how to do it. So what is that on our arm? Is that from the? Yeah, it's probably clipping through, and it's from the metal thing. So, but yeah, that, and then here we are. We are here, level 16. We got 6 that we can do. We can raise that. Pre-war presence if we want. We can increase our settlements. Um, we can action girl it. Uh, Entrepreneur, Roxbury Queen, Melting Point, you know, and then mobile storage units, Grease Monkey, and then I think I'm actually going to take that hot wire. It comes with 10 charges. Nope. Pain Train, Combat Protocols, and then here, you get 2 extra chances. And then let's give ourselves a little pistol proficiency. And then Scrounger. And then we'll go that. And then see right there, we've used all our stuff. But the next time around, we're going to go with right there, Swift Learner. Okay. And then we got points to build up. And we already know we need, I want to build up our tinkering. I want to build up survival. Get our stealth up. Science up. So some things start to stand out, and you're like, yeah, I need to add points to that. And then lock picking, and then influence, real quick, and then handguns needs to catch up pretty relatively quickly. And then you're like, okay, what else? You know, where can I go with these rest of these points? And then you say, okay, look, let's just throw 5 there. Let's go 5 here, and then we'll take the rest into fitness. And boom, accept. So now you see we got all this extra. We got these new abilities here, and that is it. That to me is, and we haven't even gone to Concord yet. Okay, so this is the best start, I think, the way you want to start the game, right? And the key is you want to go around, get as much stuff, and then the next steps for me would be we go outside and we hit up the armor and work the armor workbench and the weapon workbench. We'll hit those two up, build up, modify all our stuff, get our armor and weapons upgraded, and then we'll hit the chemistry station. We'll hit the cooking station, right? So it's early morning. We still got time before we need to go to Concord. So we'll come over here, and then a lot of times, what I'll also do is I'll go ahead and plant a bunch of stuff. I'll create some, because with all the stuff that I've done, I'll create some power generators, a water pump, and put up some, just put up some turrets right around here in case someone is going to attack. And then, so when we bring those folks back from Concord, everything's already set up and ready to go for them. I'll set up a bunch. I'll probably put together like 10 beds. I'll pick a house, put a bunch of beds in there. Pick a second house, put a bunch of beds in there. So I'll have 2 houses, probably this one and that one, or this one and that one will be just a bunch. They'll be the bunk houses, right? I'll set up my house with a bed for me, and then, um, we'll go get the dog and head on out to Concord. Sometimes I get the dog before, and then that's the other thing. Sometimes I'll get the dog first, and before I go shopping, per se. So I'll head down towards Red Rocket, get the dog, then come back this way and go shopping. So that is really up to you. If you just like, I want the dog right away, right? You can go get him. But I'll come over here. I'll move this guy up here into this space. So I'll scrap these, move the armor bench here, and then like I said, I'll modify those guys, build up the town so it's ready, and put up a recruiting beacon so that there's already 1 or 2 settlers here by the time I get back um, from Concord. That's why I'll put 10 beds up. And then, yeah, but that is Fallout. And that is, I think, the best way to start out, right? I got the Fat Man, but I don't like it myself sometimes. And it really, it's a specialized weapon that you need for, like, when you're going into some place and you got to blow it up. And if that's not the case, then it's just heavy and it's cumbersome, just like the minigun. The minigun that you get in this game, that's heavy and cumbersome, and it's not the best weapon. It does a lot of damage. It's spray and pray, but it's slow and it, like I said, it's very cumbersome. So, but if you modify your weapons right and modify your armor the way, the way it should be, then you're good to go. So what I'm going to do is we'll stop this here. I may want to trim this down a little bit because this is a pretty lengthy video to talk about the best start. And then I'll probably do a second video about, okay, part two. And what that's going to encompass is the modding part. And we'll go get the dog meat and everything. But that will really encompass us modding our gear and building up the town. And then maybe a part three, Concord, and how we handle it. Again, we're on, this is survival mode, so things are a little bit, we didn't decide to go with easy or normal. We just decided we're going to go survival, and so things are a little bit harder. um but you can see we still got the rest of the town that we got to tear down, that we got to scrap and everything like that. So guys, remember, leave a like if you like the content and want more of it. uh Comment, let me know what you do, what you think, and how you like to start, and what are the things you like to do first when you start up Fallout. And then three, subscribe. That really helps the channel, and it gets it out to more people. So until next time, guys, peace.